If the governor wants to remove me, that's fine. And I'll take that. I can take that hit, but I would really appreciate it if he would give me a phone call so I can tell him all the stuff that's going on in our city when he does it.
4 Palm Coast City Council members have sent a formal letter to Governor Ron DeSantis asking him to suspend Mayor Mike Norris. The letter accuses Norris of malfeasance, misfeasance, neglect of duty, and incompetence. It follows a 4-1 council vote held last week. Norris was the lone dissent. The letter outlines 5 reasons for suspension, including alleged harassment of staff, refusal to perform mayoral duties, filing a lawsuit against the city and a fellow council member, ethics violations, and 2 recent censure votes. The lawsuit, which Norris lost, cost the city about $30,000. An earlier investigation into his conduct cost another $15,000. The council is asking for a suspension, not removal, leaving that decision to the governor. Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Monday, July 28th. Flagler County officials canceled the Boots on the Ground line dancing event just one day before it was set to begin over the weekend at the county fairgrounds. The permit was revoked after concerns were raised by the county's legal department and a detailed letter from Sheriff Rick Staley. The sheriff cited inconsistencies between the approved permit and the event's promotion on social media, including references to off-road vehicles, alcohol sales, and crowd expectations exceeding the permit's limits. The organizer, Troy Redden, had amended the permit days earlier, but conflicting posts online prompted safety concerns. Sheriff Staley also questioned the county's permitting process and called for a review moving forward. In other news, Flagler Beach city officials are considering moving local elections from March to November of even number years. The goal is to increase voter turnout and reduce costs, which currently total up to $18,000 per election. The change would require a voter referendum, possibly on the March 2026 ballot. The move could also alter commissioner term lengths from 3 years to 2 or 4. And finally, in Palm Coast, a section of Farnsworth Drive between Fay Lane and Fairbank Lane will close for about 2 weeks starting today for utility repairs. Detours will be posted with access maintained via Fellowship Drive and Florida Park Drive. A Palm Coast burglar is caught in less than 12 hours after committing the crime.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office has arrested a repeat offender after he was caught on camera committing a residential burglary of a Palm Coast residence. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley.
A Palm Coast dirtbag that had burglarized a home in the C-section of Palm Coast was caught in less than 12 hours using our guardianship policing method and our technology. This repeat offender got caught because he thought he had an easy target after he saw the victim leave their home. What he didn't know or realize was that that house has cameras, and so do we.
According to the victim, the suspect, later identified as 35-year-old Austin Brammer of Palm Coast, stole a box of watches. The surveillance video inside the home showed Brammer entering multiple rooms and taking the box of watches from the master bedroom. He then placed the box in the trunk of his SUV and pulled out of the driveway.
The stolen watches were recovered from a Palm Coast pawn shop where he had taken the stolen watches valued at close to $4,000 and pawned them. Deputies then found him at his home, and initially he refused to cooperate and come out of the home. Deputies surrounded the home and was in the process of obtaining a search warrant for the home. When detectives talked to him on the phone, then he decided to give up.
Brammer is well known to law enforcement with an extensive criminal history with 10 prior arrests, 8 in Flagler County.
You would think that after he'd been arrested so many times, he would know we don't play games in Flagler County and that all roads for criminals go directly to the Green Roof Inn. I commend our entire team for quickly identifying and finding this suspect, tracking down the items he stole, and putting him in jail.
Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley. For Flagler's Local Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, conveniently located right off I-95 at exit 311.
Well, I think it's the type of person that volunteers to join the military, also volunteers to serve in the community and things like that. So it's something about that person's character, I think, that is consistent amongst people that join the military.
Last week's Free for All Friday featured an hour-long sit-down with Palm Coast City Councilman Ty Miller.
Councilman Miller talked about his military experience and how it translates to his role on the city council.
In terms of our training in the military, fear is good. It keeps you paying attention to what's going on. We call it the pucker factor or whatever you want to call it. But, you're engaged in paying attention to everything in those moments when there is fear.
What's the most fearful thing about being on the city council?
I think it's probably that unscheduled time at the end because you never know what's going to happen.
Last week, Miller held a town hall to meet with residents.
We had a few that are regularly at city council, but the vast majority were not kind of what I would call like the constantly engaged group of people. So it was good to have people asking questions. A lot of people, we encourage them at the end to participate in Citizens Academy, which is a great resource to try to understand how the city works and a lot of the statutory and regulatory requirements and things like that. But a lot of people don't know those things. So they ask certain questions and then you explain it to them and they say, okay, that makes a lot more sense now. I didn't know that's why the city did it this way.
The conversation continues tomorrow with a closer look at the inner workings of city government. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Daryl Moody.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.
And now, Mike Licio with your WNZF local sports update.
The Flagler Soccer 7-on-7 League wrapped up play this weekend. The Bulldog ladies needed a win to clinch the women's varsity championship and defeated a shorthanded Matanzas squad by double digits. Junior Skylar Strickland shares the benefits of the summer season.
It was never a dull moment. It's really just building our connection, our bond, our skills, just becoming one.
Fellow junior Marley O'Fallon says their team is closer than ever.
I feel like this year we definitely have a better bond, so I'm hoping that can show on the field and we can connect more and have a better season.
Skylar agrees.
Our communication, our passing, just our teamwork, it's really come together this season, and even last season, you could notice it, but this year it's better than before. I can't even imagine what next year is going to look like for us.
Goalkeeper Natalie Neal picked up the win for FPC. Last week, she was in goal for the St. Augustine boys, defeating Menendez 6-5. Afterwards, Natalie had this to say.
I think it was fun, and I would do it again.
Neal was in goal again for the alma mater as the Jacket boys beat Matanzas 5-4. The FPC boys fell 5-3 to Seabreeze, but clinched the league championship a week earlier. Today marks the official start of the 2025-2026 school year for sports, with football, volleyball, cross-country, golf, and swimming tryouts and practices beginning today. This is your home for local sports with updates Mondays and Fridays. From the WNZF Sports Desk, I'm Mike Licio.
Wake up with Flagler's Morning News. Stay connected with the latest stories and events by visiting WNZF News Radio on Facebook. Watch the Flagler's Morning News video posted every weekday morning and stay informed in Flagler County. Facebook.com/newsradio WNZF.